And I ain't hit no drop in a minute. No, I'm about my business.
Rappers Guy Podcast, episode 2. This is Diggy Metro.
Bales Pagliacci in the flesh.
And we are here today to talk about Spotify playlists.
Playlisting.
All right. So if you haven't been living under a rock for the past, I would say, 3-4 years?
3-4 years, yep.
All right. People have been adamant about putting you on a Spotify playlist and getting your music heard by the masses.
Just give me $40 and I'm going to promise you 100,000 streams with the hottest artists out there.
Right. And, although this might sound enticing to a lot of young artists out there who just want to get streams, it's fraudulent.
Fraud.
And the basis of it being fraudulent, because I understand that's hard to cope with and a lot of people probably got robbed, but essentially what these companies do is they set up click farms, which are these places in, say, like India.
Definitely India is one of the hot spots.
Well, India as a whole, like even for like telecommunications and shit, like they handle all that. You know what I mean? So to think that like they can't handle clicking on a Spotify,
they got the manpower.
You know what I mean? Like, and there's 2 billion people there.
Yeah, they got the manpower. So it makes sense.
So what a click farm really is like it's a spot in India where there's a bunch of computers set up, and these people will just play your music on repeat, or there's bots that are gonna click on your plays, and it's gotten to a point where they're intelligent enough to understand trends of what will be picked up by like a Spotify or one of the streaming platforms. So they kind of trick the system into thinking that these are real people listening, right? But if you go and you check out your stats and you look at where your music's being listened to the most, it's going to say a country like India. Or I know other people who have playlist opportunities that they go, yo, shout out to Phoenix for listening to my music. And it's like, that's because the click farm or whatever is set up through that playlist is based in Phoenix.
Yeah.
You know, and why this is harmful to an artist, right? Because yes, you want streams, but also you want a following, because the whole purpose of garnering an audience is not just to listen to your music. It's also to be able to sell merch. It's also to be able to do shows and get paid for it.
Make that money.
Like this whole concept of making music, what you have to comprehend is like once you get into it and you're actually in the swing of things, it's your career. And I think that artists forget that this is a career because it's fun and because it's passionate and they like doing it. And it doesn't feel like a career when you hop on a record and you tell a chick to suck your dick.
Definitely don't feel like a career. You can't do that in any job.
But this is a real career. And once you start taking it more serious and you understand that, you start to recognize that like it's not about the plays. Now, if I have a following of 100 people that are real people at home and they're willing to purchase shirts and they're willing to purchase hats and they're willing to pay tickets to a show, that's way more important than having 100,000 streams from nobody.
From a bot.
Right.
And you thinking that, once again, it always looks good on paper. Like, yeah, I have this many amount of streams, but it's like the purpose of your music is not to just get streams. It's for people to really pay attention to your message and get invested in who you are as an artist. It's not just about the numbers, which a lot of people usually get so caught up. Like, if I got to pay $40 to get 100,000 streams, you feel like you got put on, but you didn't get put on to anything but some bots. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be very careful with that.
And understanding the power in actually like having someone real listen to your music, it goes beyond just the good feeling of seeing that your record has 50,000 plays or 60,000 plays. Like, this is someone who is going to become an actual supporter and they're going to potentially feed your family. So you have to pay attention to how you can actually gain real audience and not necessarily worry about streaming numbers, because at the end of the day, like, streaming numbers pay pennies.
Yep.
And if you're paying money to get streaming numbers, it's kind of counterproductive.
Very counterintuitive.
You're making money. You're just making money back at that point, and you're not gonna get your full investment back.
And here's another thing about it: like, you're getting your money back technically, but at the same time, you're stealing from Spotify, Apple Music, because you're paying for something, you're getting fake streams, and then they're paying you out. And at that point, now the business side of things is looking kind of crazy.
It's a little tricky.
Yeah.
So here's the kicker. when you do these Spotify playlists, and in the past they weren't really aware of it,
Mhm.
or even if they were, they kind of let it slide. Right now, they're becoming more aware, and music is being pulled down from these streaming sites.
Yep.
So, what sense does it make to potentially get your song ripped down after investing all that bread into it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is why it's an incentive to not do it anymore, because you're going to lose money.
Yep. At the end of the day, it's just like a true loss. Not only are you losing, so let's say you did have some fans or people that really did listen to that song. Now it's taken down because of the majority of those bots. Now those people are looking for your song. You always have to look at it like, you know, there's only but so much you can do as an artist. Your music is what sells to people. Your music is being taken down. Now you have to switch to another platform just to get your music uploaded again. You got to pay extra money for that. At the end of the day, it's kind of like you trying to climb up a hill so fast, but at the end of the day, you're going to roll back down at the end of the day.
There's also, I think, if there was any benefit to it, I do believe that in music, there is a fake it till you make it thing.
Definitely. Mhm.
And if you're able to show people that you have 50,000 streams on all your songs, you're probably more likely to be able to charge someone for a verse.
Yep.
You could probably, but again, when that person who pays you for the verse puts out their record with you and that record gets 0 plays,
Not at all.
they're going to be confused as to why none of the following carried over. And the answer to that is there's no following.
Like, bro, you had 500,000 streams. I'm surprised like 100 didn't just come over to my song. Oh, well, I don't know. Yeah, you do know. You've been using them fake playlists.
Right. And here's the fucked up part. I think that there's kids out there who have used these playlists and gained streams
Mhm.
and don't actually know that they're being duped.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole process is also like, you know, yeah, no, these people are in these countries are really listening to your music. And in your head, if you're young enough and you're naive enough, you're probably thinking, oh, yo, I'm really popping in India. I'm really popping in Bangladesh right now. Like they really banging my music out there.
I've seen artists who have boasted about streaming numbers that you know come from these click farms.
Yeah, and you can obviously tell
And
if you're aware.
I don't know if those artists are actually aware
Mhm.
or if they're just trying to fake it till you make it.
So like
Up there.
For an example, if you go to someone's Spotify, Apple Music, and you know this information is viewable by everyone, a person has 200,000 streams on a song, but their monthly listeners is 200 monthly listeners. It's like there's a sign right there.
Clear discrepancy.
Doesn't make any sense.
Right,
you know?
right.
I don't know much about math, but I know that don't add up.
You could also look at people's following from if someone has 1 million streams on Spotify, and then you go to their Instagram page and they have 300 followers or 1,000 followers, even put
math
it
is
up
not
there.
adding up.
It's not going to add up. You know what I mean? And then you could carry over to Twitter, and maybe they didn't buy followers on Twitter, so they have fucking 10 followers.
Yeah.
You know, and when you carry from platform to platform, there should be some sense of balance between all of them. Because here's the thing. If someone likes your music enough to stream it 1 million times or 500,000 times or 50,000 times, they're going to follow you on a platform.
Yep.
Whether it be Twitter, fucking, even Spotify. You know what I mean? They're going to follow you somewhere. But if you don't see those numbers are accurate, another way to tell is one of their songs has 100,000 plays, and then the next song has that less than 1,000.
Less than 1,000, yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. If you're listening to something 100,000 times, you're gonna listen to the next
Yeah,
record.
like you're not gonna go to the other songs like, nah, you know what? Let's just keep
only
pressing
this
this song. Yeah.
Only this one's good.
The rest of the catalog's not good enough. Let me just stick with this song.
And as an artist, you should be worried about people catching on to that by itself. Like it's such a clear thing
Mm-hmm.
that like you can't even really fake it till you make it, because it doesn't make sense numbers wise. You look at one record and it has that 100,000. You look at the next record and it has that less than 1,000. A regular person could look at that and go, "Yo, that's fake."
Mm-hmm. And then you guys probably think like, oh, nobody's gonna pay attention to it. I think a lot of people are paying attention to it. I know I pay attention to it whenever I'm like trying to invest in or like spend my time listening to a new artist. Let me make sure this stuff is organic, because that's what I'm big on. I want to make sure this is actually organic, and I'm gonna try to gauge it as best as I can.
Yeah.
I've actually go through all the socials. I go through almost everything just to make sure this is genuine. I love to see genuine work being put in place.
Especially if you're gonna go to the degree of like paying someone for a feature.
Oh yeah,
then you have to look at all the factors. You have to look at their pages and make sure that like this is a real following and not fake. You know, it's become a world where you could really buy followers anywhere.
Yeah, and then you can also, from you buying those followers, you can sell it to other people as if you're bigger than what you truly are.
Right.
And that's where it becomes this whole game where it's like the rap game is very vicious, and a lot, like once we said before, a lot of people will use anything to get over on you, and they don't care at all.
So let me give a little background on Spotify playlisting. It's 2017, 2018. I dropped my full-length project, Morning After Rainfall. I get in touch with this playlist promoter, and they charge me $40, and they say, hey, I think that record on the album would work best.
That's sweet spot, 40.
Right? And they say, well, we're going to guarantee that you get 6,000 plays. We're going to run the playlist until you get 6,000 plays. So that's guaranteed 100%. And we'll be in touch throughout the process, and we'll ask you how everything is going, whatever. Right? So I remember streams are going up on this one record. None of the other records, just this one record, right? And it gets to a point where the company hits me up and they say, you know, how are you feeling about this? It's working. And we see that you're getting the streams. And I said, you know, the streams aren't really my concern. It's more about the following. Cool. The next day, they go, don't worry. If you want us to focus it toward the followers, we'll focus it toward the followers. The next day, following grows dramatically. And I think that they thought that this was something that would intrigue me rather than completely throw me off and be like, yo, this is fake.
This is fake.
Because I'd like to think that more people are like me, who are just aware of what's going on when something like that happens.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that, like, the second that my following went up, I go, all right, this is bullshit. And I told them, I go, yo, this is like, you guys are fake, and this is not what I was looking for whatsoever.
$40, I'm getting followers and streams.
Right. And now, mind you, I did make money back on those streams, but again, no following. So was it beneficial? That record still has 6,000 streams to this day. You know, it didn't grow at all from that point. And you're going on 3 years.
And, you know, to piggyback off your story, I was using a lot of platforms, Submit Hub. When I first found Submit Hub, you know, Dick could tell you personally, I was just talking about Submit Hub all the time. Submit Hub is getting me on these playlists. And I found that no matter when I did get onto those playlists, it was always a hassle to get on because I had people who probably don't know anything about music telling me that my music wasn't fitting in a certain criteria. So that's already throwing me off. But when I did get on these playlists, I'm getting streams. But then I notice sometimes the streams that I'm getting is from India or the Philippines or certain places. In my head, I'm like, maybe this is legit because it's supposed to be a legit website I'm using where I'm actually submitting to real people. And, you know, when I looked at my save rate, my streams, relative to what I get now from using actual marketing, it's completely different. I've had songs that I probably released and it has like 20 saves and it's been out for like 7 months. And I have a song that I actually marketed properly and instantly 500 saves, 600 saves. And it's so much rewarding seeing that I didn't have to depend on playlists to see my following go up. And I actually seen the organic growth because it's a snowball. It's you know, going down a hill. It starts off slow, and eventually it starts building itself up to an actual movement. And that's the process I'm in right now.
I think something like Submit Hub, to not completely shit on them, I think that, you know, they're kind of working on an older model where like blog placement and shit like that actually mattered a couple years back, right? And like right now, blog placement is more a dick swinging thing than it is actually helpful. Like if you go on this website, Submit Hub, and I'm not going to say that you shouldn't use it because if you're a young artist and you are placed on like 5 or 6 different blogs, it's cool to actually have that under your belt.
Because that helps your SEO score when it comes to people searching your name. Right. You'll pop up actually on some blogs.
And I'm somebody who in the past was put on a bunch of different blogs and it did help me out a little bit.
And you know create that digital footprint for yourself.
Right.
Like I'm an actual
and people
here.
were able to look at it and go, you know, this is a serious artist. He's on different blogs. These are actually like credible blogs that are posting his music, right? So there is a benefit to it. But as far as when you're on there, there's a huge discrepancy between the real blogs, the top guys,
Mm-hmm.
and the bottom blogs who it doesn't fucking matter. It's a kid at home who's posting this shit, and he's not even posting a real article.
Mm-hmm.
Because what fucks me up about these bloggers is that they don't actually write an article about your song.
Yeah, they just basically give you a little summary about your song. Not
A
even sometimes
summary,
even a
and
paragraph.
and the summary is so bullshit. It's
Yeah.
like this has a very good beat, and he rapped very nicely on it.
Like, okay.
That's not. First off, you are not a hip hop fucking editorialist if that's how you're writing about a song like that. You're not breaking down any of what makes the beat good. You're not breaking down any of what makes the bars good. You're not giving them a taste of one of the bars. You're not saying anything that actually intrigues anyone into the record. So when you do go to one of these blogs and they give you that type of information, it doesn't necessarily help you at all.
It just throws you off completely.
It makes it look like it was fake. Like
and it's
even
like-
reading that paragraph
Mhm.
makes it look like, oh, they didn't actually listen to the song. They just posted him,
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's helpful for a young artist, but the helpful side is being able to say I'm on a blog, even if the blog itself isn't necessarily doing anything. Now,
You got
when I
that
say
digital
helpful,
footprint.
exactly, digital footprint, not talking about helpful in terms of you're going to get following from that blog. There might be a chance that you get 2 or 3 followers.
Yep.
But chances of you getting a serious audience from being on a blog in 2021, not realistic,
And then, to piggyback off what you said as well, Submit Hub wasn't fully bad for me because I did learn a lot as far as what certain, what certain markets are looking for, or just what people are sometimes looking for within music. And then also I did get on some actually good playlists that actually were, for me, it felt like it was actually genuine plays that were coming out of it. But once again, you just have to, when you're using that platform, just be very careful because it's a quick way to kind of get your music stuck in this like purgatory where it's just like, you're getting the streams and everything, but the following isn't there. And at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for, to increase our following,
You're also looking for a fighter's chance. Like you're looking for, all right, with those blogs, you're leaving it too much up to chance where when you actually promote your stuff accurately through advertisement,
Yeah.
it's not chance, it's just money.
Yep.
The more money you put in, the more people view it.
Mhm.
That's plain and simple. That's what it is. You pay exactly what you get what you're paying for. Phone drops, fucking sounds like a brick. But while you're putting your songs on a Submit Hub and you're kind of like growing like that, it doesn't necessarily turn into anything worthwhile. And if you were to put the same, because you have to pay for Submit Hub.
Yeah. And
If you were to put the same exact money, like even because I think that a token's like $10 or
so I'll be completely genuine. I done spent about $800 on Submit Hub.
okay, no, that's
Yeah.
fine. The thing is, like, as an artist coming up and as an artist who's learning the game and learning the system, you do spend a lot of money.
Spend money.
And you spend a lot of money. This is why this podcast is important, because we're gonna direct you to the right places to spend your money.
Yeah, because
Like you're still gonna spend money. Don't get that shit twisted at all. We're not saving you money. Money has to be spent in order to make it. Like I'm an audio engineer. I'm going to mix people's records and make them sound better. There are going to be people out there that still try to put out records that sound like shit.
yeah, and they'll think that it's going to just fly and it's going to work.
And although you could look at examples, because everyone always brings up like XXX Tentacion, Look at Me. They go, oh, Look at Me worked, and that sounded like shit. That's an anomaly.
And that was basically most off of the clout of saying that he was dissing Drake too.
That's true, but it's also an anomaly. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't
it very
happen
is.
like that often. The fact that you could look at one record and be like, well, what about this? That means that it doesn't happen often. If
Exactly.
everyone could go to the same record, just like when people are talking about age in hip hop and they go, 2 Chainz is 40 when he got big.
Mhm.
The fact that you could only look at 2 Chainz means that doesn't happen often.
all the time. It does not.
You know what I mean? So people need to be like a little bit more understanding of the fact that like you do need good sounding music. And I'm not saying that from my engineering standpoint. I'm not saying that to make bread off anyone. What I'm saying it for is that whether you go to me or you go to a different engineer, that's important
It is.
to put out records that actually are of quality, and from that, you're going to get a lot more placements on blogs and playlists, because those people that make those blogs genuinely or most of the time they are looking for stuff that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
They're not looking for stuff that sounds like it was recorded at your house and has no actual mixing done to it.
because when I was mixing my music myself before I met you, I thought it sounded good, but if I brought it to like an engineer or like somebody, trying to submit to some of these platforms, they say, yeah, the audio needs some work and the mixing needs some work. So you have to make sure that mix sounds good as well, because you can have the most fire lyrics in the world, fire chorus, whatever the case may be. If it sounds trash, it's going to sound trash regardless.
Also, I know people get demoitis and they listen to a record that they mixed at home and they fall in love with it. So then the first time they hear it actually being clean and crisp, they aren't as attracted to the record.
Yeah, I did that a few times.
Which is fine. But, having a record sound how it's supposed to actually sound, the first time you hear it, you're going to be a little bit thrown off. But, if you get in the swing of having quality records, like the one good thing that I did throughout my rap career is when I got signed, I did have access to a real good engineer.
Mm-hmm.
From that point going forward, I always utilized him as my engineer. I'm talking 18 and on.
Yeah.
Until I was comfortable engineering my own records and really like putting together my own stuff. But like for a long time, I used that engineer. I paid him his rate and I got my records mixed by him. And so although I didn't grow as an artist in a audience aspect, people never listened to my records in the car. Even when I was fucking ass, they never listened to my records in the car and said, it sounds like shit.
Yeah, because it sounds good within itself. No matter what's going on. It sounds good.
I could have been the worst rapper of all time. It sounded good though. You know what I mean? And that's important. Even if you're not that good of an artist, if you have records that sound quality, it's going to trick people's brains into thinking it's a better record because it sounds quality.
It's kind of fire right here. Yeah,
you don't know how many times I've dealt with artists, whether it be like mixing freelance, and an artist sends me a terrible record, right? And I mix it, and I'm playing it in the car with my girl to listen to how the mix sounds, car translation, and I'll be like, this record fucking sucks, and my girl's sitting there and she's like, it's not that bad.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about?
And the reason why she's saying that is because I heard the raw version of it that wasn't a quality record. When I mixed it, it sounds like quality. So to her, she's just going off of the overall sound of it.
What she heard. Not
she's
the
going off of
standpoint.
the sound of it. She's going, it sounds good. The bass is heavy. The raps are clear. Like, it sounds good. So there is a lot of power in getting your stuff properly mixed and mastered and carrying that over to like a Submit Hub. When you send that in, you're going to have more likelihood to actually get your record placed, but I still wouldn't recommend Submit Hub over honestly advertising your music, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or Google Ads. And we're going to have a further episode that's going to go deeper into those advertisement platforms. And Bales is going to take the reins on that one because, he's been doing it heavy.
A lot of success, people.
But for right now, we just wanted to touch on that lightly. Getting back to Spotify playlist or any playlist, really, I don't care if it's a SoundCloud playlist or whatever. I hope artists going forward just stop using them as a whole.
Yeah, and they have to realize too, when the music starts speaking for itself, not only is Spotify going to create playlists for you, those editorial people that work there are going to start placing you in these playlists. And before that, you have regular people that are listening to your music, and you don't know what kind of following people have on Spotify. Like, people have these Spotify profiles, and they be actually having like 2,000, 3,000 people follow them. They're regular people, but people trust their music taste.
Right.
You get a random guy like that to just grab one of your songs, put you on one of his playlists without you asking him for anything, paying for anything. You can't beat that. You just got to put the work out.
And here's another secret. Typically, for people to post your music, they should just like it and not require payment.
Yeah, not at all. A lot of people are just trying to take money from artists because they understand artists are trying to get put on. You'll see it on Instagram all the time. Yo, promote it on this website. Promote it on this website. And it's like you go to the page, you'll see 100,000 followers. Like, oh, this seems like something I should promote to. Then when you really look inside the numbers, you go to a page and you look at the engagement of a rapper that was posted, like 200 views, 2 comments. There's no real engagement there. It's like, so what am I going to pay you $50 to post my song on your page for like 7 days and I'm only going to get this and I'm not promised to get anything from it? You got to be careful with those practices too, because people are just always trying to constantly get money out of you.
What you have to consider as an artist coming up in this game is that you are doing something that's extremely passionate. This is your actual dream,
Mhm.
right? For most people. Some people are just doing it because they want to see if they can make money off of
Yeah.
it, which you're going to fall out really quick. You
Get
know
out
what I mean?
now.
Yeah, you're going to recognize that that's not how it works. You're going to go broke before you get rich. But being that this is something that you dream about and this is your passion, people know that. And that's why in the last episode, I called it a predatory art form,
Mm-hmm.
because being that people are aware that this is your dream, they know what you will spend to make that come true.
Yep.
And they know that when you're passionate about something, you will put the house on it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're willing to charge you ungodly amounts, even if they know the return is nowhere close to what you deserve. Because to them, this person is down on their luck and they're going to spend whatever it takes.
And all I got to do is give them a few empty promises, show them a few numbers, show them that I got this following, that this could happen from this point on. And they're going to pay me the money. And then I'm just going to take the money and I'm not going to think of it ever again. I'm going to go look for the next artist because there's so many of us out there. People are really building businesses and brands just off the hope that we want to make it somewhere and we want to get put on. So they're creating these businesses just to prey on us, which is exactly how you put it. It's definitely predatory.
Right. As a final statement, when it comes to Spotify playlist, even if you've seen success in the past, just look into the reality of it, and try to focus on if it's actually changed your life in any way. Because anything that I look at music based as helpful, like if I got placed on a blog and then a couple artists saw the blog and hit me up and now we have records, that changed me a little bit.
Yep.
If you are being posted on these playlists or these blogs and nothing comes from it at all, you should just make the assumption that that wasn't a good investment.
It was not.
It wasn't a good choice. So I hope you listen to this. I hope you give more thought, because I've told artists that even come to the studio that Spotify playlists aren't a good idea, and they've had nothing but arguments for that.
Yeah, just like, no. I know people should just be on Spotify playlists. I've seen the ads and people are so adamant because it's, but before we, end the segment, just like thinking of like, when you go on Instagram as an artist, just look how many times you see a random playlist company pop up that's asking you to either spend money or promising that it's going to get you some streams. And just like really take note of how many you're going to come across. Because I'm pretty sure as an artist, you're going to see a lot of them on your page. So many different companies, so many promising the same thing. At the end of the day, it's a dead end.
Also, guess what? You can't ever be promised streams on something that requires people liking it.
As soon as somebody say guarantee, you run away.
Yeah. The guarantee itself is fake. Like, there's no guarantee that anyone will listen to your music. There should never be a guarantee that people will listen to your music. That's not how music works. If they like it, they'll listen to it. If they hate it, they won't listen to it. But there's no guarantee that anyone will listen to it.
No in between.
Unless Drake posts it.
Yeah, that's different.
You know what I'm saying? If someone huge, like if Kylie Jenner is playing your record on Snapchat back in the day, it almost guaranteed that people were going to listen to your record. But it doesn't mean people will like your record.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what these blogs and these playlisters are playing on. They're promising that people are going to mess with your record genuinely. And that's just not the case.
Yeah.
And they'll even make the statement, we're not promising they'll like it, but we'll get you the streams. I don't want the streams.
I want people to click
like
on it for what, like, that's why it's so beneficial to advertise your music properly, because at that point, when you're advertising, it's up to the person to click. So if a person clicks on my advertisement, they're interested, they're invested, they want to spend the time. This is not my music being sent to a farm to where people are just clicking on it randomly or not listening to it. It's not on a playlist where people are probably not even listening. They're passively listening. They can't even get a chance to really hear what I'm saying. This is actually going to people who want to listen to it. Because
also,
they clicked on
ask yourself this. What is the purpose of having a bunch of streams if no one heard it? What is the purpose of putting together this passionate song and no one hearing it? Like, if it boosts your ego a lot to have plays on it without any actual listeners, then sure. Fine.
Keep doing what you do.
If that makes you comfortable, fine. To me, I want people, if it's 5 people who the song registers with and they're playing it on a daily basis, I would enjoy that more than 100,000 streams that didn't really happen.
Any day. I would take that any day.
Last words?
Stop using them playlists. Honestly, that's my best words for you. Stop using them playlists, man.
All right, man. Rapper's Guide Podcast. We are signing out. This is Diggy Metro.
Bales Pagliacci, we out of here.
Peace out, guys.